Hey everybody, it's David from Red Wagon Dioramas. I am going to give you a in-depth look today at my Empire Strikes Back Bespin Cloud City Escape diorama you see in front of you here. Let me give you a quick tour of the diorama first, and then I'll talk about how I built it. So the way I've got it set up right now, I've got Chewbacca with 3PO there, Lando in the back getting into the elevator, Leia firing a few shots at the stormtroopers that are chasing them down. These are all Hasbro 6-inch Black Series figures. This is 1/12 scale. We got Leia in her Bespin Escape outfit here. Such a great figure. I mean, the face sculpt there, very simple, but just a really well done figure. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, you know what, I can't wait to put her in a diorama from Cloud City. And so that's kind of the inspiration why I built this. Is I had a couple figures. I had Lando in the back there. He needed a good place to stand on the shelf. And then when Hasbro released Chewie and 3PO, this 2-pack, I mean, that basically sealed the deal for me. And I was like, all right, time to build this thing. I know this isn't a movie accurate scene, but it does incorporate a lot of the elements, and I hope you can recognize it right off the bat as being Cloud City from Empire. This curved archway and these stairs and the elevator. There are several scenes that were filmed on the set with this type of location. It wasn't squeezed together so tightly, but that was the inspiration. I was looking at the shots in the film. Now, obviously, this is in my cube shelf for Ikea, so this is about 13 inches wide, 13 inches high, about 15 inches deep. So I'll back up here and start. Basically, when I make a diorama, I start with the location. Where am I going to put this diorama? Where am I going to put it on the shelf? How much space do I have to build this thing? How much height, width, depth, all that. I didn't want to take up a ton of real estate because I only had, 4 or 5 figures that I wanted to display in this. So the cube shelf made sense to me. But I really wanted it to be more dynamic. I wanted to be able to make it an action scene. And I also like incorporating multiple levels in the dioramas. So by adding these stairs over here on the left, making this kind of a, doing the curved hallway here, just adds more displayability, more interest to the display. So this is the first diorama I built where I put, walls on all 4 sides. Actually, it's the only diorama I've done in these cube shelves where I have foam board for the floor, the walls, and a ceiling. So this whole thing slides into place. The way this is built is the walls and floor and almost everything is attached down to the base, except for this curved archway and this light, which are attached to the ceiling. So it's actually a kind of a clamshell setup, the way it goes together. And I'll pull it out here in a little bit and show you how that is. Before I made this diorama, I had picked up these cardboard display pieces on the left and the right. Now these were made by Cardboard Galaxy. He has a store on eBay. He's active on Facebook and other places, Instagram. So I purchased this door panel cardboard and the window cardboard from him. Besides the figures, what really got me on track to build this diorama was some inspiration from this. Just a plastic 1-gallon paint can that I had from work. This one is black plastic. This is actually the same type of can that is that elevator there. So after I had the can in mind for the elevator, the first step was I laid out the diorama. I cut the floor piece, I cut the sides and the back. This is all out of poster board you can get at a dollar store. And I just sketched on the ground, kind of, put the can in there, traced the footprint of the can, so I knew where the can was going to sit. Then I drew out the steps, and I tried different things with this middle column to see how I could make the hallway and still have enough room for some figures over here on the right, but fit the elevator in there, and it just barely worked. So after I had the location of the can laid out and kind of the basic floor plan of the diorama laid out, I started to work on the elevator. First thing I did was I cut out a doorway, used a Dremel for that, and then I had to figure out how to turn a black plastic cylinder into a white elevator. So I do have a little video showing how I put the door together. But basically the inside of the can is painted white, but the walls here is white plastic card, like hobby plastic they sell at Hobby Lobby. So you can buy them in sheets of, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's thin but hard, rigid plastic sheeting that you can cut pieces out of. You can bend it. You can use it it's used for hobbies, for models, I guess. So I had picked up a package of that, and I ended up using it to line the inside of the elevator, and I padded it out so I had a pocket so this door could slide in between the inner wall panel and the wall of the can. The pattern on the door is just a photocopy of the brown door from Cardboard Galaxy. I just ran it through a scanner and printed it out, a kind of a grayscale pattern. So the stripes here on the left of the door is just white cardstock paper over black construction paper. This little door surround here is a flexible foam, kind of like a mouse pad. Not sure where I got it. I basically save scraps from different things as I go along because I might use them for something. So it was some kind of a flexible rubbery foam that I could curve and bend to the profile of the can. Door frame here is just some more white poster board or cardstock paper, a little thicker than normal paper, just glued in place to kind of clean up the frame edge. Anyway, a lot of words to say. I made an elevator with a sliding pocket door, so I could do this, I could display this diorama with it opened or closed. And the elevator is big enough where I can get, I can actually get Chewbacca in there, and probably 3 or 4 characters if I really wanted to jam them in there. So I worked on the elevator for a while, and once I had that kind of in place, where I'd figured out how to make the door mechanism work, and basically it's a process of setting things in place and tweaking things until everything fits and looks okay. So I knew I was going to use the Cardboard Galaxy door here on the right. I cut this whole frame here is cut out of foam. Just out of foam board. You can see a little bit of it here on the top. And then all the actual finished wall surfaces here is just white cardstock paper. Like thick paper you can get at any kind of paper supply store. So just, did a nice crease, a bend on the edges, and just glued it to the foam with Elmer's glue. So that was pretty simple, actually. I just wanted a clean white wall surface. Same thing with this big arch here. This was tricky to do because you can see I have the curve, and then it comes down all in one single piece. Behind here is a really flexible packing foam material. I don't know, came with some appliance we had. So I sliced relief cuts in it so I could curve it and bend it over, and I glued it to the ceiling. And I was going to paint it or plaster and paint it. That just seemed like it was going to take too much work, so I ended up putting cardstock paper right over the surface of it. And there are some seams in here. If you look close, you can see where there's a piece of paper on the top, there's paper on the side of the arch, there's paper here, there's a little seam here. But basically, just using cardstock paper glued to the foam is how I got the look. These archways. At this angle, you can see the angle of the arch there. This is just a piece of white PVC plumbing pipe from Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't think I even painted this piece. I just found a section that didn't have any lettering on it, and I just shoved it in there to fill the gap. The light fixture here is made out of, there's a plastic lens in there that's the bottom of some type of plastic bottle we had. These little spokes to the wheel kind of thing, or these little triangular pieces, are just more plastic card that I cut out and glued onto the plastic bottle lens. This is the rim from a metal rim to a jar, and there may be a piece of pipe in here, I can't remember, or I might have just gone plastic card there. You know, a couple other details here. The stairs are made out of 3 layers of 1/2-inch foam board, which I spackled the edges after I cut them and painted them with a really, a bright white glossy paint. I wanted a kind of a shiny floor. Each layer of stairs is spaced by a layer of the thinner poster board to give that kind of shadow relief look to the stairways, which I was trying to go after what the movie looked like. I thought about painting the floor, but I never did. This is just the surface of the poster board that as it comes from the store. So I didn't do anything fancy with the walls or with the ceiling. So this is just a small trim piece going along here under the windows, kind of gives some definition to the wall there with the window bank. Now the lights here are from Ikea. They are round little hockey puck lights like this. They come wired to, I think it runs 5 lights off the same plug. All I did was stuck a piece of self-adhered Velcro here on the back of the light. I got a piece of Velcro. I don't know if you can see it up there. Obviously up on the ceiling up there. So that's how I do the lights. I just use a 2-piece self-adhered Velcro, tape, and then I can reposition these in different ways if I need to. I could move them around. So if I don't like the lighting, it's easy to adjust. Same with the light back here in the hallway. Problem with these is sometimes the Velcro, the glue goes out and then the lights fall. But my experience, they've lasted, they stay in place for, I don't know, almost a year for some of these. So without destroying everything here, I'm going to pull it out slightly just to give you guys a look how it goes together. And honestly, this thing's been here for almost, well, I guess a full year, so it's probably not going to move very easy. So where I said I had attached the walls and the back, everything down to the bottom except this archway, and the light obviously is attached to the ceiling. So it's really a 2-piece diorama. The base goes in first and then the top slides in. So if I can do this, without destroying things, get a sense of how this thing's put together. So see, these are just nails, flat roofing nails into this archway because this thing wanted to move all around. There's a view of the foam. So that thing was hard to get in place. I taped it, I glued it. The other problem I have here is my lights. All right, so I'm not going to be able to get this thing out because I've got all my lights wired back through the shelving. But here's a view of it. You get an idea how the base is in there first and then the top slides in. And honestly, I forgot I had run these wires through the back there, so there's not much slack. So I can't really pull this all apart right now unless I get into disconnecting the lighting, which I'm not going to do for this video. But there you go. So I'm going to push this thing back in. I had another piece of PVC pipe back there. It's a trick. See, if you just turn it the right way, nobody knows that it's that it's a piece of pipe. I'll put some. I'll share some photos I took share some photos at the end of this of some of the scenes I recreated with the various figures. Give you guys a little montage of toy photography there. Put Chewy back here. Appreciate your support on the channel here. I hope this inspires you to build something cool for your shelf. If you have any questions about what I did here, just let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help other collectors and hobbyists, build your own creations. So thanks for watching, everybody. May the force be with you.